Hi students, welcome to this very unique exam where you will be using the iPad to record all of your answers. You will be taking photos of what you create at each station, and you will record your voice explaining what you did and why you did it, and also answering any questions that you might see on the assignment sheet at each station. So I want to go over some general rules for this exam. In general, you are not to talk to any other students during the exam. That includes if you pass them in the hallway or if you happen to be in the same room as them. You are not to make any noise when in the hallway. There are exams going on in the other classes of this hallway, so it is very important that you are very, very quiet in the hallway when moving from room to room. I would recommend that you spend no more than 5 minutes at each station, unless you want to be here all morning. If you run out of time and you're asked to move on to the next station, I can give you more time at the end to go back to a station to add any details to any slides that you want. And lastly, ask for help if you need it. I'm around, Mrs. Moffat will be around, and Mrs. Eagleson will be around. There might be other teachers like Miss Holmes or Miss Smith that are going to be in the area, and you can ask them for help if you need it. If they can't answer your questions, they'll come and ask me. I will be in room 228 throughout most of the exam, so if you need help, somebody can come and ask me for help there. So, I hope you have fun with this exam. I hope that this allows you to show what you know in a much more easier way, and hopefully by having the recorded instructions here on your iPad, this will help you to understand what you need to do at each station. So, good luck and have fun. Here are the instructions for Station 1. Note, this station is for grade 9s only. Grade 10s do not need to complete this station. At this point, if you are at Station 1 and you are in grade 10, you can come in the classroom and take a break at one of the music listening stations. So, grade 9s, you will see here on the bench a series of picture cards that have plants and animals on them. Your task is to build the longest food chain you can based on what you know about these plants and animals. I want you to use the arrows that are provided to show the direction of flow of energy. So you are creating a food chain, not a food web. Once you have your food chain made on the bench, I want you to take a picture of it and record your voice explaining why you made the food chain the way you did. Then I want you to mix up all the cards and arrows so that the next student doesn't have any clues. We need the next student to start from scratch. After 5 minutes, you can move on to Station 2 unless you are finished all the stations. For Station 2, you should be in the computer lab, room 232. For Station 2, you will start a new slide and you will build a food web given the clues about the plants and animals on the cards. Use the arrows to construct your food web. You will then take a picture of your food web and put it on this new slide. I would like you to then record an answer to the following question. What would be the impact on your food web if mice were killed off in this habitat? Please explain your reasons for your answer. Once you've done your recording, mix up all the cards and arrows so that the next student doesn't get any clues and they have to start from scratch. Spend about 5 minutes at this station and then move on to Station 3. At Station 3, you can return to room 228 and have a brain break. You've earned it. Find the iPad at Station 3, plug in your headphones and listen to some music or watch a video on YouTube for about 5 minutes, and then you'll move on to Station 4, which is out in the hallway, down by the stairs. This is Station 4. You should be down at the end of the hallway near the stairs. And what you'll see is a diagram of the electromagnetic spectrum taped to the wall. So this represents all the energy that comes from the sun. I'd like you to take a picture of this electromagnetic spectrum and insert it on a new slide in your project on Explain Everything. You can use your finger to draw on the photo if you wish as you answer 2 questions. So I'd like you to hit the record button and answer these two questions. Which types of energy on the spectrum are the most intense and dangerous? How do you know this? The second question is, when you play laser tag, you play with guns that shoot red lasers. Why don't we use laser guns that shoot violet lasers? Use the electromagnetic spectrum to help you with your answer. Once you've finished answering these two questions, move on to Station 4, unless you're finished all the stations. And if you are, then you can go back to the classroom. Station 5 is another brain break. You can return to room 228 and listen to some music or watch a video on the iPad at that station. Stay there for about 5 minutes and then move on to Station 6, which is in Miss Holmes's room. Here are the instructions for Station 6. You should be in Miss Holmes's room. In this room, you'll find some convex mirrors. There's a big one, and then there's some smaller ones. Choose a mirror and look in the mirror. Think about how your image looks in this mirror. On a new slide and explain everything, record a description of what your image looks like in this mirror. Secondly, I want you to record an answer explaining where would we use this type of mirror. Give an example from everyday life where we would use a convex mirror. What purpose does this mirror serve in the example that you're giving? Why would we use a convex mirror in this example? After you've finished your recording, you can move on to Station 7, unless you're finished all the stations. In that case, you should return to the classroom. Station 7 is a brain break. You can go to room 228 and listen to some music or watch a video on the iPad at Station 7 for about 5 minutes, and then you'll move on to Station 8. Station 8 is in room 224, which is beside Miss Holmes. These are the instructions for Station 8. You should be in room 224. In this room, you will find some convex and concave lenses. I want you to take these two shapes of lenses and look at some objects through them. You can look at the words on the papers at this station, or you can look at any other objects in the room. After you've spent a little bit of time looking with these two shapes of lenses, I want you to record your voice on a new slide in your project. I want you to describe what images look like through a convex lens and also what they look like through a concave lens. You can use terms like smaller and larger, upright or inverted to describe the size and the attitude of images in both convex and concave lenses. Secondly, I want you to answer the following question by recording your answer on this slide. What type of lens, a convex or concave, would be used in a magnifying glass? And tell me your reason why. Why did you choose that type of lens for a magnifying glass? Now you won't need to take any pictures or draw anything on this slide. Just your audio recording is all that I need. Once you're done, you can move on to Station 9, which is in room 222, right next door, down by the ramp. Or if you're finished all the stations, return to the classroom. These are the instructions for Station 9. You should be in room 222 down at the end of the hall by the ramp. In this room, you will find a blank flowchart showing the classification of matter, like we studied it in class. There are also some cards that show examples of different types of matter. I want you to choose cards that show each type of matter and place them on the proper spot on the flowchart. Once you've done this, you will insert a picture of your completed flowchart in your project. Record your voice explaining why you chose each card for each spot on the flowchart. When you're all done with this slide, take all the cards off the flowchart and place them in a pile on the desk so the next student has to start from scratch. You can then move on to Station 10, unless you're done all the stations. In that case, you can return to the classroom. Station 10 is a brain break. You can return to room 228, find the iPad at Station 10, plug your headphones in, and listen to some music or watch a video on YouTube at this station. You'll stay here for about 5 minutes before you move on to Station 11, which is another brain break. Station 11 is a brain break. You get to stay here for another 5 minutes and just relax. Keep your headphones on, listen to music, or watch a YouTube video. You can move on to Station 12 after about 5 minutes. These are the instructions for Station 12. You'll still be in room 228 in our classroom. This station is all about the changes of state that we studied in class. Take a blank sheet showing the changes of state and descriptions of changes of state. Using a pencil from the station, write the letter next to the proper description for each change of state. When you're all done, take a photo of your completed matching sheet and put it on a new slide for Station 12 in your project. Then I'd like you to record some audio answering the following question. Tell me one thing that you enjoyed about science class this semester. Tell me why you chose this example as your favorite part of science class. I really want to know. I want to know what you liked about science this year so that I can make future science classes even better. When you're all done, hand in your matching sheet to Mrs. Ross-Holton. Now, if you are in grade 10, you will move on to Station 13, which is out on the bench outside the classroom. If you're in grade 9, you get to take another brain break. Just sit down and relax, listen to some music, or watch a video. After about 5 minutes, grade 9s, you can move on to Station 1. Unless you're done everything, and in that case, you'll just stay in the classroom. These are the instructions for Station 13. This station is only for grade 10s. Grade 9s do not need to complete this activity. Grade 9s, if you've reached Station 13, go back to the classroom and sit down for 5 minutes. Grade 10s, what you will find is a list of WHMIS hazards, workplace hazards, and there's a pile of WHMIS symbols. There are more symbols than there are hazards. What I'd like you to do is match up the proper symbol next to its hazard. There are 6 altogether. When you're done, take a photo of your completed matching sheet and put it onto a new slide in your Explain Everything project. I then want you to record your voice answering the following question. Why is it important that workers have WHMIS training? Once you're done recording this answer, take off the little pictures of the hazards or the WHMIS symbols away from the hazards and put them in a pile next to the page. Mix the symbols all up so that the next student has to start from scratch. When you're all done this station, if you're in grade 10 and you've just completed this, you can return to the classroom and have a break for 5 minutes. When that 5 minutes is up, you will move on to Station 2 because you do not need to do Station 1. Only grade 9s do Station 1. If you're all done everything, then you can just return to the classroom and give your iPad to the teacher.